You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 16th meeting of LaPorte County Election Board Special Meeting. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay. We're going to call this meeting to order. LaPorte County Election Board, everyone please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Heather Stevens.
Present.
Jim McCalca.
Present.
And Brody Schaffner is present. Any corrections to the minutes for May 26th, 2023? Okay, hearing none, those are approved. And I would make a motion to modify the agenda to the correct date of June 16th, 2023. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? There are none. Okay. It's time for public comment.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street, Michigan City, Indiana. I'm kind of excited. This has been a long time coming. However your vote going to turn out, I'm hoping that it's going to be positive. I just want to say thank you to Heather Stevens, Al Stevens, and to myself. We are the only three people in this county who has pushed hard for voting centers and getting voting out of Michigan City area schools. The day is the day. I look forward to this happening. We put up with a lot in Michigan City with this Michigan City area schools and all the nonsense that goes along with it. This is a historical day for all of us. We have finally did something that will make voting easier for all citizens throughout the county. All you would need is your ID and go into any voting center place in the county and you can go vote. If I'm in La Crosse at a basketball game, I can go to their voting center and vote for my precinct in the first ward, MC1. This is a great day. There's been a lot of people against it. For whatever reason, I don't, they led by a certain group of people that's just outlandish, but this is a great day. It took a Republican Party to do this, an independent. We got it done. I'm very encouraged by this. And I just like to say, the last time I was here, it was I had some words with Daryl, the mascot of the Democratic Party of LaPorte County, and it didn't go over well. But for the leader of the Democratic Party, Angie Heisman, if I'm mispronouncing her name, please forgive me. I'm not a child and I'm not a boy. I don't think she used the word boy, but I think she kept calling me a child. Forgive me. For people to be professional and call themselves a leader of a party, they should never use those kind of words to anyone. It's just shameful. But today is Good News Day. I wish we can just go straight to the vote and get this over so I can go home and celebrate. I will be having a couple of drinks today. And this has been a long time coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Hello everyone, my name is Angela Hinsman. I live at 237 Leo Avenue. I am the party chair for the LaPorte County Democratic Party. I would like to say that we also are very excited about the vote center plan. I believe that we are all working together to make this happen. It's going to increase the accessibility and the convenience for the voters in this county. I believe with the technology we have, this is just the logical step forward. And I do want to thank Heather Stevens for her leadership on this. And as a response to the allegations, I just would like to say that before the election board last time, Rodney McCormick was trying to instigate problems. and I was trying to ask him to leave us alone. And so I just want to say that we are trying to be as professional as possible. And you guys were here, you saw what happened. But I just wanted to say thank you again for this opportunity to see this move forward. I think we all work together as one, apart from parties. We didn't let that stop us. And I think the more we work together, the better. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Don Briggs, 300 Madison Street, Michigan City, Indiana. I too strongly support voting centers. It's going to be more convenient for the voters. It's going to be hard to do statistics to compare before and after voting centers on turnout, because our first one here is going to be in a primary, low turnout. But overall, we can expect more voter participation at a lower cost. Good idea. It's good public policy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think voting centers are great too. And as a person who I've worked the polls hundreds of times, and I love Heather Stevens, she does a great job. But, and we can all work together. I'm a Democrat, but it doesn't matter. I mean, when we work the polls, you know, party labels don't matter, and we do the job. The one thing I heard is that there's going to be a committee. I mean, someone's going to decide where these polling centers go. And I don't know if the people that work those do that, set up the committee, if they'll have the same rules, you know, that we as poll workers have. You know, like we have some rules that, you know, we cannot have family members running for election. You know, we can't be in a position where we can influence anybody's vote. You know, we can't, you know, in favor of our relative when we're working the polls. So I guess I would like to see that would be part of the assignment for people that are involved in making decisions about these centers, that, you know, they would not be running for election because they could put the polling center where it's convenient for them.
Can I respond to Martha?
What's your name?
I'm sorry. Martha Most.
Thank you.
And I'm from 3005 Loma Portal Way, Long Beach, Indiana.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
So the committee that we talked about last time. Your mic on. It's on. Is that better? Okay. Okay. All right. The committee that we discussed at the last meeting, that was just a small informal committee. It was a good balance of Democrat, Republican. There were no decisions being made by that committee. This is who makes the decisions.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was really just kind of a brainstorming information kind of session.
Okay.
Because we really wanted to get this right. So
Sure. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Hi, Willa Faye Moore, 515 Grace Street, Michigan City, Indiana. And truly, I appreciate you guys getting these vote centers. I have worked the polls since, about 20 years or more. And we had to turn people away because they were not in our precinct. And they, would wait till, of course, the last minute to come and vote. So these vote centers will really, I believe we definitely will have more voters in LaPorte County by having vote centers. Thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Morning, afternoon, Mr. President, members of the election board. Alan Stevens, 5277 West, 1475 South, Hannah. I'm also chairman of the LaPorte County Republican Party. If you would indulge me, I'd like to read this brief letter that I had entered into the record. Members of the election board, as chairman of the LaPorte County Republican Party, I would like to take this opportunity to present this letter of support to the election board and request that it be entered into the official record and attached to the vote center plan. Moving LaPorte County to vote centers will result in substantial cost savings to the taxpayers of LaPorte County and make voting easier and more accessible to the voters of LaPorte County. As chairman, I offer my support and the approval of LaPorte County Republican Party to switch our county to vote centers. Sincerely, Alan Stevens. And I would echo the sentiment raised by everybody else. It's a great day when we can remove the Michigan City polling locations from the Michigan City area school properties. It's been a long time coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Last call for public comment? Okay. Moving on to new business. Voter registration using the mobile unit at the LaPorte County Fair.
I think the voter registration team is here. I did meet up with the president of the fair board, along with I don't know, there's somebody else there, I can't remember. Basically what they told us is that they do not allow vehicles on the midway. We could put voter registration in the building between the two party buildings and then put the mobile unit behind the building for people to see. I feel like that kind of cheapens it. Just a bit. That's just me. Yeah, it's kind of back behind. But I mean, if that's what you guys want to do, that's what you want to do. I'm not sure what voter registration is doing at the fair, so as far as I'm concerned, I don't see that the election board has any part in this at this point.
Yeah, we're kind of at their mercy.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I agree if they're putting this in the back room,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So that's all. That's all I had about that.
So we are good to go though to have it there.
And to have,
The unit there.
yes, behind the building.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
So I guess my question is, do you want it there?
I do. Anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, if we're out, even though we may be out of the way, it's only for a week, right?
Yes.
Then I'd probably support doing it if it's feasible for us to do it.
Okay. I don't know, and I don't know if you guys want to come up, but I don't know where. I don't know if they're taking the building in between. I don't know at this point if they're going to their other buildings like they have traditionally. I don't know what they're doing.
I think our original thought was that if we did have the mobile unit, it would be something that would be visible. The idea would be to get people to see it and to recognize it when they see it in their community. But what I'm getting and what we're hearing is that it's going to be out by the dumpsters and not visible, not accessible. And so we're kind of wondering what we can do about that, or if we should have it there or not. I know we talked about it briefly.
My only thought is people are used to coming to the party building to register to vote. So if we move from there, they're not going to be looking for us there. I mean, that's like the eating area or something, isn't it, for the church?
Well, it used to be, but things have changed a little bit out there.
Nothing will be there but us, and then the unit will be behind it.
Correct. And the mobile unit would be visible as long as all of the doors are open. It's still visible. So you would have, if you're looking at that building, the Democrat Party would be on the right-hand side. The Republican Party would be on the left-hand side. I think that's weird. But yeah. So you guys would be in between with the mobile unit behind you.
Is it possible to talk to the fair board to see if we could find a better location for it? I just feel like it's going to blend in with the other semi-trailers and everything else that are back there. Like right where you start the midway. People aren't really going to think to go back there and look because that's like the back of the fair.
Well, again, they're going to see it walking by. They will be able to see the mobile unit behind you. So
Is that a decision that has to be made at this meeting?
I don't think so.
We'll do whatever
Will you
you
just
guys
give
want.
us the permission?
I'm all for if they, if they're going to be in that middle building and they want the mobile voting unit behind them, I'm fine with that. If they're not going to be in the middle building, I'd like to see the mobile unit out of the picture.
Did you still want to reach out to the Fair Board? Is that what you want to do?
We can see if they would have any other kind of arrangement.
I don't think it hurt if they would just communicate with them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I would be comfortable leaving it to your discretion.
I just feel like there's a big building, and if you're walking down the midway, not a lot of people stop and look through the building all the way to the back. They're just walking by. They're not paying attention to what's behind the buildings. That's my thought. But we're willing to do whatever you guys want us to do. I just feel it would be better if we were in a different location.
Okay. Do you have like flashing lights and like the dancing, blow up?
We have
things?
Francine.
Francine, you're gonna like spin a sign, right?
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Well, we were talking, what if we paid a vendor fee? We're not selling anything.
No,
But we'll have
so,
the
and I understand what the Fair Board was saying. They do not allow vehicles on the midway. So if they were to bend the rules for this, they're going to have to bend the rules in the future. And I think that's a position that they don't want to be in. So I understand it.
Okay. And what's the midway? Sorry.
Just kind of the main areas of the fair
Okay.
It's where all
where
the
the people are walking.
I feel like I need a picture or something, but
it's the main drag
loop,
that everyone walks up
the
and
loop,
down.
got it. All right.
Guides are on the
Got it.
left, right.
Where you walk by the goats and you
yeah, or
come
the
back around and get some
yeah.
steak tips. Got it.
There
Okay.
you go.
Okay. Okay. Got it. I'm still comfortable just leaving it to your discretion. If anyone else
Same
feels the
here.
I'm
same.
good.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Moving on to preparation for state equipment.
Hello, I'm Steve Shama with Microvote. Heather asked me to come up here and give you guys a visual of the new equipment that the state's going to be buying for the county to start preparing for some of the logistics issues that will come up with the larger equipment regarding setup at a polling location, transportation to and from, and these sort of things. And so this isn't quite the final version. This is the last prototype version. The final version has to still clear the final state certification before I can publicly present it, but it's very similar to this. You can see it's a substantially larger device, but the advantages of that are kind of threefold. The first is that you'll see that the equipment now can be set up on its legs prior to opening up the booth. So if it's chosen to deliver the equipment and leave it sealed and still set the polling site up sometime on Monday and get everything squared, that can be done without breaking the seals before the morning, if that's one of the practices you want to be done. The other is that all the pieces of equipment are now contained in one device. The paper trail, the VV-Pat, is located over here. Move this over here. The VV-Pat on the right, the paper trail device, stays with the unit and is plugged in. Your voting panels, what I have in here is the more modern or more recent model of your voting panel, which has kind of a color screen. Not here to pitch it today or anything. It's just what the future will look like if the county migrates towards the color screen. A little more clarity. But the whole device stays within the booth this way, and there's only one power cord now that comes out of the back, and there's a 25-foot cord reel that pulls out of the back, so the poll workers can set up one plug, everything turns on, eliminating that clumsiness that we've been doing so far with trying to get the VV-Pad in place. The VV-Pad, this county was actually one of the first counties to do a state audit of voting equipment. We did it, 2-3 years ago almost now?
We did that in 2021.
2021, 2 years ago. Yeah, so the Ball State came up, did the validation of the voting equipment. That practice is going to continue and get broader, so wouldn't be surprised if we get audited again in the next couple years. But for the most part, the equipment pops up pretty easily. The curtains you can see are tucked in the back. Those unsnap and plug into these holes right here. For the privacy, I've seen all sorts of configurations with this, particularly since you're going to vote center or potentially going to vote center. I've seen places like Tippecanoe County where rather than setting up in a row, they will tend to form pods of like 4 devices circularly, and then limit the number of cords that are going out to the area and allowing for a poll worker to communicate with several voters at the same time without observing their ballot and getting behind the booth. But for the most part, everything else behaves exactly the same. The machines activate the same way. The only difference is with each and every vote, now that you will have a paper trail associated with it. The schedule of the equipment, it has to be in place prior to August of next year for the general election. I know we've been introducing more and more VVPATs as the elections have gone forward. That's pretty much it. The vote center element of it for the equipment and practice, if you were to go towards vote centers, the only difference for the county regarding the equipment will be twofold. One will be your electronic poll books will be configured differently to allow access for every single voter. So right now, if you, like Lady mentioned quite handsomely, that if they go to the wrong precinct, that goes away. But prior, your electronic poll book would tell them where they have to go. That goes away. They simply are going to be activated into that. Each and every voting equipment then will hold every precinct, just like your early voting machines do, with the only exception that those votes will be classified as election day votes. So you'll still have your early voting ones programmed the same way. And I look back at your inventory of voting equipment. This county has always been blessed with more equipment than it's ever needed, quite candidly. When I first sold the system to the county 20-some years ago, I recommended about 265 devices. And the clerk at that time wanted to go a little bit higher over some public concerns about number of machines. You happen to have some casino money at the time, I believe, and you went up to 320 machines. So for your vote center scenario, even though you may have more vote center sites than most counties would ever have, you will have an additional about 30 to 40 devices that could be programmed, ready to go to be distributed at any location if you see lines forming because one site becomes more popular than the other. So you'll have a lot of flexibility. Previously, the machine would be programmed for just one precinct and only usable at that precinct. Now they could be in a row and you could just grab the next one, take it out, and record where it's going. So gives the vote centers will give you a lot more flexibility and just make it easier, quite candidly. So, but other than that, I'll hang around afterwards for if anyone wants to come up and vote on the equipment, see how the paper trail device works. Anyone from the public's welcome to come up and start getting a feel on that.
Thank you, Steve. So
Thank you.
this is something else that we have to talk with the commissioners and the council about, because storing 320 of these, they're heavy. What do they weigh roughly?
50 pounds, but most of the weight's all on the wheel end, so yeah, they're best rolled rather than carried.
Yeah, I would have concerns about putting that weight on the courthouse. I think that may be a bit of an issue. I know the maintenance has had a bit of concern about that as well. And just being able to, when Microvote comes in to program these, I mean, they're going to have to be able to move them. So we can't just stack them on top of each other, because if they need number 6 and there's, 30 other stacked on top of it, that's going to be a problem. So I think we definitely have some stuff to look at.
Each one, the best way to store them are stacked, standing up on end like soldiers in pods of like 6 to 10 or whatever, so you have access with gaps between them. But you do the math on it, adds up pretty quick, because on end each one takes up 2 square feet. And so at 325 or at 700 square foot, if they're butt to butt packed into a room, and you really almost need twice that space to navigate and work. And so there's a lot of logistics that we're going to have to work out, but it's been solvable everywhere we've gone. So I'm certain we can get there and bring this back up to meet with commission and your building engineers and stuff like that, so they can start getting their head around it too.
I think we have a question from the public.
The question is how flexible is that to do with travel? Sorry. My question is, how flexible is this machine to do with travel board, going into people's homes?
Yeah, that is one of the biggest questions we've received so far. The question being, right now, I think in 2008 was the first year that the state started allowing taking the electronic machine into a nursing home and cast a vote that way and getting away from the paper element. Not real flexible. quite candidly. I mean, the device, the VVPAT and the smaller device can in fact be taken out of that booth and found in some sort of a small cart scenario to take into a location. But it's my understanding that those votes will still mandate a VVPAT attached to it. We can't take that off.
So would it be possible for travel board to just simply maybe not use the bigger case, just keep what we have, where you would just have a VVPAT case and the smaller machine case?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe that's a solution.
Yeah. And go ahead.
Can I speak here?
I think they want you up here.
The other thing is, you know, with the voting van, I mean, unless you have a muscular person to do it, I mean, lifting those up into the van is very difficult. I mean, I don't know.
We'll get you some help. We'll get somebody to load them up for you.
And I guess to kind of package it a little bit, the booth itself is not mandatory to the equipment. And so if you do need to operate in a smaller space, the panel and the VVPAT can be brought out of it and sat next to each other on the table. I've seen counties do that with just the classic cardboard privacy box around it and do that sort of thing. Every room kind of configures a little differently.
So for travel board, for our mobile unit, we would just use what we already have. We could just use that. We don't have to take the bigger one out. But I do see where that's going to be a lot more convenient for election day.
Yeah. The so far it's been extremely positive compared to the current booth and trying to get up just for the visibility of the paper trail. We know people are recognizing the paper trail while voting in this configuration much more than they were in the darker booth, and it was hard to see. There that.
Okay.
All right. I'll
Thank
be
you.
around if anyone needs it.
All right, last but not least, vote center resolution. Heather?
So I did mention earlier the informal committee that we had, and I want to thank those people because that was great. Really what we did was we just sat there and kind of bounced things off of each other. This vote center plan will not be finished until about, I'm guessing about mid-August. We still have work to do. The first item of business is bringing it to this board for a formal vote. If that vote is unanimous, then I have to have public meetings. I'm required to have 2 public meetings, 30 days apart. I'm gonna do more than 2. I already have 3 of them scheduled, and I'll just state it. 6 p.m. I'm working on 6 p.m. Thursday, June 29th, right here. 6 p.m. Thursday, July 20th at Michigan City Hall. And 6 p.m. Thursday, August 3rd, right here. So I also have to go to the commissioners, to the council, and that requires a majority vote. Right before this meeting, there was another informal just gathering, and just, you know, I really wanted input about this vote center plan. And I'll tell you, I had the Democrat and the Republican Party chair in there, and I can't think of a more enjoyable meeting. They worked together. They bounced ideas off of each other. They said, well, we could do this, and what about this? And, you know, it was refreshing. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. Aside from that, what we have, we are required, in order to do this, we are required to pass a resolution. So I sent a copy of the resolution to both of the board members for them to review. And do you guys have any questions, comments? I will say there are copies up here by Taylor, so feel free to take one, look this thing over. The locations that you see on the map, and Taylor has been nice enough to kind of work with a map for us here. The locations that you see, these are not set in stone. This is where we're starting. So basically all we've done, we've removed all voting from the schools. We're out, we're done, it's over. The other thing, I didn't want to mess around out in the county too much because you just don't want to do that yet. I think that we need to take a couple of years. I think we need to see where people are voting, where they're not voting. Kind of the same thing in Michigan City. You know, we do have a couple of locations that are really close together, and then we have areas that we're not sure are covered well enough. But again, guys, we're so lucky to have that mobile unit, so we can take it to those areas. So again, this is a starting point. All of our polling locations have to be approved by this board. So it's not like I can, you know, take all the locations away from a town or no. They're not going to let me get away with that, even if I wanted to. So
I'm not letting you get away with taking away mine.
again, mainly out in the county. Out in the county, I think we only removed one. And that was it's on 421. It's right in between Westville and Wanata, which is also right there by Noble Township, which is Union Mills. So it's kind of, if you're going to that one, it's most likely that you drove to it. So you can go any other direction and you're going to hit a vote center within a few miles. So not a big deal. We did remove a couple out of LaPorte. And I can tell you, those were, the PRCU decided this year they would no longer be a polling location, so that we don't have that. We are also looking to remove, I forgot. Oh, I think I'm kind of on the fence about the Door Church. It's very close to Agape. So again, you know, we just don't need them that close together. City transport, I'm a little on the fence about that. It is in the middle of town, and it did have a really high turnout. I think we had 300 and some voters there in 2020. So just little things that we need to look at. And again, I'm happy to form any committee. I'll sit and talk with anybody. So aside from that, this plan, if it's signed, cannot be changed. It cannot be changed unless this board votes. So the plan itself would have to be unanimous to change it. I'm good.
Good.
You have anything?
No? Do you have anything?
Not right now.
All right. Motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Board member comments. Go ahead, Jim.
All right. As Heather mentioned, we're going to be removing areas to vote from the schools, many from Michigan City, and I think that's important. I know on primary election day, Brody or Mr. Schaffner or myself, we drove out there because there was a complaint of intimidation at a school, and we went there, and it was just the opposite. There was none. There was a police officer there that's involved with the daily activity with children, and but on the other hand, it's just good to separate that out so we don't have that type of issues surfacing any further. So for those reasons, I'm very happy we're doing this. And I know there might be some people out there or that are watching online or whatever that maybe don't care for this, and there will be people that want to resist change. That's just normal, okay? But in the best interest of the county and of this election board, I think it's time to move on, and I think we're doing the right thing.
Heather?
No, I think this is going to be great for this county. I think it's going to increase voter turnout. It's going to save us money, and I'm excited.
Here you go.
I can't think of a single reason why anyone would be against this. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to a great November election. Thank you. Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.